All right, everybody. Going to do another tutorial from start to finish here because I'm going to flash a new test map to the ECU of the 2022 Speed Twin. So I've got my LX Bluetooth plugged in. If you haven't paired it yet with TuneECU, there's a button right there. Push that, and that'll go into pairing mode. Go into your Android device. In this case, I'm using a Samsung Galaxy A8. I got for $199 off of Amazon. You can use an Android phone, whatever. Go into your Bluetooth settings. Once you've activated that, the bike does have to be powered up. For that to be powered, you just plug it into the diagnostic port that sits under the seat, right in between the battery and the fuse box. Plug that in. I've also got my battery chender on there. I'm also using an LED headlight. You can unplug the headlight or pull the fuse if you want. The LED doesn't draw much amps. And I've got a 4 amp charger on the battery while we're doing this, and I've never had any issues. So I've already paired it with Bluetooth. And now what I want to do is first I want to go in and open up my map. So download the map to your Android device, get it on there. Go to open. I need to navigate to my download folder. Let's see, downloads and September 5th test map. Let's make sure I just clicked on the right one because the screen's really sensitive. So I see that. Yes. All right. So now I'm in my map. I've got my trim tables in there. I'm adding a little bit of fuel in some lean areas. I have gone down to my ignition tables, and I've modified the timing just slightly. They were pulling it up top to cap top end power. They were also doing throttle restriction. So there's my rain mode. It's obviously being held back. There's my road mode, still being held back. Sport mode now giving me full power. And I've also modified all the way down to about 3% throttle to make it a much more linear, so that what you dial it to is more in line with what you're going to get, not just up top, but I've also made this entirely more aggressive. So this is going to make this even snappier. I have also gone down to the trim tables, and I've gone ahead and left that. I actually moved that to 13.25. Under parameters, I'm leaving it at the stock rev limit. There's no sense in revving this thing out more. It's not going to make it more power. I don't know if I'm going to remove the top speed limiter. I have to set up PayPal on this. Maybe I'll do that another time. And I have left, until I at least get on the dyno, I have left my O2 and SAI intact. So at this point, I've got the map loaded, double checked all my settings. This is what I want. Go to ECU, hit connect. Watch your little flashy lights down there. Once I'm green and flashing, gives me a voltage, I'm good to go. At this point, I want to go to ECU and hit reprogram. And it's going to say, hey, do you want to do this? You could void your warranty. I say yes. It's telling me to pull the headlight fuse and connect the battery charger. Again, I've got the battery tender on there. Yes, I'm sure I want to do this. Hear a click. And now it is flashing the ECU. This is going to take 18 minutes. I'm not going to sit here for 18 minutes with you while you watch this and I hold my camera running my battery down. So we'll go ahead and I'll stop recording. Then I'll come back as soon as it's done. And then we'll go through resetting adaptives and then firing it up for the first time. It's cold, so I'm gonna do a cold start and see how it runs. If I can get some dry roads, maybe later, but Atlanta this year has been nothing but rainforest type of weather. We just get weeks upon weeks of rain. So this summer's been sort of a bust, and today is no different. So we've got everything all wet, rain. I hate riding in the rain because I gotta clean the bike. But this is just gonna be an updated version of a map that I put in before. I played with the timing just a little bit, tweaked the fuel just a little bit, but more just made the throttle mapping for sport mode a little bit more aggressive. So let's let this thing do its thing. Looks like I got about 19 minutes, so we'll come back when it's nearing, like 98% complete, show you what the finish wrap up looks like, turning off the bike, turning it back on, going in and resetting adaptives, and then we'll do a fire up and see how it runs and how it idles. So we'll be back in a moment. All right, checking back in. We had 51%. So 52, ooh, moving right along. Yeah, so it's just a slight variation of the map I had. Noticed a little bit of a flat spot up top, so I pulled just a little bit of timing back. I think I added a little bit too much. I also think that it might be, and I haven't gotten an answer to this yet. I'm waiting for a response on the TuneECU forums from the owner, is, you know, when you go in and edit ETV3 to get the sport mode and make it more aggressive and stuff, I noticed it was better in some gears but not others. Well, apparently it only applies those changes to gears 1 through 4. So you have your throttle mappings based on mode. So in this case, you have rain, road, and sport. And I've only been playing with the sport mode, I'm just leaving everything else stock. But apparently it only applies it to the first 4 gears. So 5th and 6th, I guess, is using the old values, but I don't know where those are stored. I'd like to be able to have the more aggressive throttle mapping in all gears. Although I guess maybe they figure, well, you're just tooling around in the interstate at those speeds and you don't need it. But no, I mean, if I'm trying to go top speed, I want those throttle plates open all the way. And if I'm on the track, which this is going to go on track along with the mighty Z14, you know, I do want all power. So I need to figure that out. I don't know if I have to pay for a pro license to be able to do that, which I don't want to spend $300 just for that, but it's probably a good thing to have anyway. So I'll probably go that. Maybe that unlocks some extra features and stuff, and I can do a better job with some of these maps I'm doing. But definitely made it more aggressive on the throttle mapping. Also, if anybody knows where I can get, I need to find a place that has these in stock. So I've got these springs on my Olin shocks. It's the 60480-02s. I need the 04, 60480-04. I need a heavier spring. I'm finding to get my sag where I want, I'm almost out of adjustment here. I need a stiffer spring. So there's a spring that's made for my weight. These springs are not that heavy. It still gives me much better damping than stock, and I did get the ride height where I want, but if I have to adjust it that far to get it, then I need the next size up. So if anybody knows, anybody here in the States that just sells the springs, I can install them. It's easy. Take this bolt out, swivel this up, and the way Olin's makes these is that when you loosen the collar all the way, they make it extra long here. So if I were to loosen this all the way, the spring would actually move up and down. I'd have slack. And when you have slack in there, see how there's a gap in there? Right now, you can't pop this collar off because you'd have to push it up against the spring and then push it away, and then the spring's gonna wanna fly out. So you don't need a shock tool on this though, those compression tools to hold the shock. You loosen this collar all the way, and that gives you like an inch of slack. You just slide the spring up, and that lets you move that collar up and off that part that it sits in, and then you slide it off. This will be up here, and that the shaft here actually goes through the groove, so you can pop that off, and then the shock actually just slides off. I'm sorry, the spring slides off the bottom of the shock. So if I take this bolt out and just, you know, leave this, maybe just loosen it and swivel this up, I can unscrew it, slide it up, pull that out, pull the spring off, put the new spring on, put the collar in, bolt it back up, and then just tighten the collars down. Really simple to do. I just need to find a place that's got the damn springs in stock so I can order a set of 60480-04. That's what I need. So if anybody out there in my audience has a line on who might have those in stock, help a brother out so I can get those. All right, we're up to 71%, so let that finish up and come back. These tires have been holding up pretty well. I don't know what my mileage is. I don't want to dick around with the dash while this thing's doing stuff. But I'm definitely going to upgrade to the, well, lateral move in some ways because these are actually great tires. But once these are worn, I'm going to go to the Pilot Road 6s and get some good longevity out of them. I won't get, I mean, maybe I'll hit 2,000 miles on these, but I'll be surprised if I get even that. So anyway, we're still humming along. 74%, says I got 5 minutes back, so we'll be back in 5. Go take have your morning BM, grab a cup of coffee, and we'll be right back. And we're back. 95%. God, I gotta clean up my garage. But we just did a bunch of stuff on bikes and got rid of the Harley. Got rid of the bobber. See, no bobber anymore. And my wife went to a 2022 Monster Plus with nice bar end. A very tasty Termignoni 3/4 system, so stock headers, but decat and mid pipe and mufflers. Took out the DB killers. I don't know why it was $2,700, but hey, the previous owner paid for that, not my wife. So really, really nice Evotech heavy duty frame sliders. So this is a really cool bike. I don't like the tag mounted the way that it's mounted. The person had the New Rage Cycles tag. I prefer to keep it at an angle like regular tags. The cops tend to give you a hard time because they say it makes it look like you're trying to hide it. And I just heard some stuff clicking. Reprogramming done. Okay, hit okay. Tells you turn the ignition off, disconnect the battery charger, replace fuse, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and turn that off for 10 seconds. And now we'll go to the next part, which is turn that shiz back on. Now what you want to do is go to ECU. Oops, let's get, let's see, let me think. Scroll to the right. Come on. All right, go to ECU. Go to Tests and Adjustments. Go to Adjustments and Reset Engine Adaptations. It'll reset the fueling adjustment, throttle, twist grip, crankshift position sensor. Engine adaptation's done. All right, everything's reset up here. Let's turn it off. Then we're gonna turn it up. We're gonna turn it on and fire it up. I'm gonna put this over here, somewhere where I'm less likely to have it vibrate and fall off the bike. Hey, let's just nestle it right in between there. There we go. All right, let's fire it up. Let's see if it blows up. I gotta use my hand here that I'm holding the camera with. Come on, man, chain tensioner. It's hydraulically adjusted, that'll go away. Sounds like Gavance and Hines. It'd be louder without if I had an X pipe, but for a stock exhaust, this is probably the best sounding stock exhaust of any bike I've ever owned. All right, so what do we got? We got our trim values. So that's what's interesting. I added 15% fuel down in that range. And the short-term trend values are actually still adding fuel. So from the factory, these things are really, really lean. But what is important to note here is I added 15% fuel at idle. It's not trying to take it away. And I have the O2 sensor still in and active. So I think that's why the bike has a lot more snap down low. All right, we're warmed up. The stepper motor's not. All right, so we're at 0%. We're good. Voltage good. Everything looks good. Yeah, this is working. go. Just ride it for a bit, and it always goes away. The first time, it's got to reset some adaptations and do some things. We cleared a bunch of stuff out of there from the last two, and so it's going to have to do that. Nice and snappy throttle response. Let's add less fuel, add a little more. Looks good so far. Sounds good. It's idling well. Yeah, that throttle is much more snappy now. I don't know if it's the tune or the throttle mappings, but it used to be a little laggy. Like, you give it gas and it would be like vroom. It would be a vroom, and it would kind of slowly come up. Now it's very, very sensitive, very responsive. I like that. For whatever reason, it seems to like that change I made to that map. That's in the shared folder. I'll put a link in the video. But that's how you map it, you know. And then the other things you can do in here, you can come in and turn on and off, turn on that list, and you can see what sensors are available. And you just turn on and off what you want. So you can monitor things in real time here through the tablet. If you want to like sync your throttle bodies, you can adjust them and make sure that they're both equal within range. It looks like these things are pretty damn close. You can go in and reset the maintenance minders. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So it's a good product to have. These, I think they did go up in price. These might be like $70 now. That's the model number you need. You can pause there and get that info. You buy them on Amazon. Pair it to your Android device, and then you can go into TuneECU and connect to the ECU. You've got access to all kinds of stuff. Sounds good. And there's the throttle tables that we're using. So if you wanted to do the same, you could just download my map and use it. But if you do this and then compare to the stock map, you'll see that Sport Mode ETB3 is way, way more aggressive. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. It's a very simple process. It sounds daunting. It's not. If you don't want to edit your maps, reach out to me or go buy a map if you buy them from someone else that puts out a map. But this is how you flash it. Get yourself a cheap Android tablet or an Android phone. Get yourself one of these from Amazon. And it's useful for so many more things. It's useful for so many more things than just doing the tune and stuff. Being able to reset things saves you trips to the dealer. Being able to go in, and if there's a problem, you know, if you have an error code, you got an engine code, you can go to ECU and go to error codes, and it'll tell you what the code is. And then you'd have the option of clearing the codes and things like that. So it's a really good diagnostic tool. You know, I don't know what dealers are charging now, but I know for like the Ducati, their hourly rate is $165 an hour now for labor. And that's just not on Ducatis. That's actually on everything over at Mountain Motorsports. And I'm not bad-mouthing them. We bought, I don't know, 8 bikes from them now in the last 3 years. But labor rates have just gone through the roof. So, you know, just to go in for a minimum, you're going to pay someone $165 plus tax to come into their computer and go click and reset your maintenance minder. No, I'm going to do it here. It's worth it for $15 or whatever he's charging for the app these days, and $70 on Amazon. And it doesn't, you know, you get five bike licenses with the standard license here. So when you get the next bike a year from now, well, you just take your stuff and swap it over. So anyway, that is how you flash an ECU with TuneECU. If you got questions, put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you out.